All right, here we go on our second one. This one you're going to recognize. You probably have learned already about Rosa Parks. Many believe that Rosa Parks helped initiate the civil rights movement. She did this in a very simple way. She refused to give up her seat on a bus. In 1955, segregation was a way of life in America's South. Segregation meant that people of different races were separate from each other. Under segregation, black people could not go to the same hospitals as white people. They could not eat the same restaurants. And they could not use the same water fountains. We call them drinking fountains. Black children could not attend the same schools as white children. They could not use the same playgrounds. Segregation also meant that black people had to ride in the back of public buses. In Montgomery, Alabama, even if a black person was seated in the back of the bus, he or she might have to surrender that seat. If the front seats were taken and the white person wanted to sit down, a black person had to give up his or her seat. Black people followed these rules every day, but one day Rosa refused. When she did not give up her seat to a white man, Rosa was arrested. Such treatment of black people had been going on for hundreds of years. This unfairness began when their ancestors were enslaved. Some people saw this injustice of segregation, others did not. There were numerous challenges in courts, but southern states did not change the laws. The bus driver ordered Rosa to give up her seat. The official charge against her was refusing to obey the orders of a bus driver. Rosa's challenge was not meant to result in a court case. That day on the bus, the other riders probably had little idea that they were watching history being made. They were unsuspecting of what her actions would lead to. Soon, black leaders in Montgomery organized a boycott of the city bus system. This boycott was led by none other than Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. For 382 days, that's over a year, guys, black people refused to ride the Montgomery buses. They found other ways to get to work and school. They walked or rode bicycles. They rode with people who had cars. As the boycott went on, it grew bigger. Finally, the Alabama Supreme Court said that segregated seats on buses violated the Constitution. In other words, this was illegal. Rosa continued her civil rights work the rest of her life. She became a well-known activist who spoke out for rights of African Americans. In 1999, she was awarded a Congressional Gold Medal of Honor. This is the highest award given by the government of the United States of America. What an award to get for Rosa. Number 11. Which paragraph would best be supported by the following key detail? So now we got to look at these different paragraphs. Paragraph 2, paragraph 3, paragraph 1, paragraph 2. Rosa Parks was tired of the way black people were treated. Paragraph 2 on page 150. 1, 2. Segregation of separate hospitals. Just never said one word about Rosa in paragraph 2. Paragraph 3. This is paragraph 3. Segregation also meant that black people had to ride on the back of the school. In Montgomery, Alabama, even if a black person was seated in the back of the bus, he or she may have to give up her seat. If the front seats were taken, a black person had to give up her seat. Black people followed these rules every day, but one day Rosa refused. When she did not give up her seat to a white man, Rosa was arrested. So far, that one sounds like the best. Paragraph 1, page 151. Such treatment of black people had been going on for hundreds of years. This unfairness began when their ancestors were enslaved. Some people saw injustice, segregation, others not. There were numerous challenges in court. Never talked about Rosa. And the next paragraph, bus driver ordered Rosa to give up her seat. The official charge against her was refusing to obey the bus driver. Rosa's challenge was not meant to. So it's got to be B. Number 11 is B. Number 12. Read this sentence from the article. Many believe that Rosa helped initiate the civil rights movement. What word is the opposite of initiate? So we're going to see the real word initiate really means to get going. So now you're looking for the opposite. I don't like that when they ask us for the opposite. What's the opposite of get going? To get started. Don't pick start. It's the opposite of that. All right, number 13. What text evidence provides the best support for the point that segregation was illegal and wrong? Facts about segregation in education. The events that led to the arrest of Rosa Parks. Details about how badly black people were being treated. Court rulings that segregated on buses violated the Constitution. Only one of those talked about something being against the law. Number 14. Read this sentence from the article. In 1955, segregation was a way of life in the American South. Segregation meant that people of different races were separate from each other. Which word in the sentence above helps the reader understand what segregation means? A way of life in 1995, separate from, American South. Number 15. The author provides details about Rosa's action on the bus to support the point that Rosa was an important person in history. Rosa had no choice but to do what she did. Segregation hurt both white and black people. Segregation was just beginning to become popular. Nobody knew she was important, but she was very important. That day, she didn't even know she was important. Remember, it said, nobody knew she was making history. She was an important person in history. It's got to be A, I believe. 16. Read this sentence from the article. In Montgomery, Alabama, even if a black person was seated in the back of the bus, he or she may have had to surrender their seat. What's the opposite of surrender? Okay, I'm still not in favor of these opposite questions. So surrender means to give up. Now you're trying to find the antonym of to give up. So don't pick quit, the opposite of that one. (17) What evidence does the author use to best show that Rosa was a successful activist? Her arrest on the bus? An explanation of segregation? A description of what life was like in the South? Details about the Congressional Gold Medal of Honor. So which one says she was successful? 18. Read the sentence from the article. When she did not give up her seat to a white man, Rosa was arrested. Now we're looking for a synonym. The same as arrested. (19) What evidence in the text supports the author's point that Rosa's action led to something very important? She refused to give up her seat on the bus. The official charge was that she refused to obey the orders of the bus driver. Soon, black leaders in Montgomery organized a boycott of the city bus system. They found other ways to get to work and school. Number 20. Which words from the article have almost the same meaning? So now which of these two words are the same synonyms? Walk and road, followed, required, injustice, unfairness, or hospitals and restaurants. Some of those are pretty obviously not the answer. All right, check to make sure that your bubbles are filled in completely, nice and neat. Stay tuned for number 3. You're not done yet. When this last page is done, then you're done. You're not done yet. Hang tight.